Everyone in the mist-shrouded town of Silver Falls knew Atlas as the 180-pound black Cane Corso shadow that disappeared into the freezing Oregon wilderness every single night for 3 months, returning at dawn covered in blood and mud. But nobody, not even his owner, realized that this terrifying beast was actually dying to keep a secret alive. Atlas was a majestic, jet-black powerhouse whose sheer size and silent demeanor made him look more like a forest myth than a household pet, possessing a muscular frame that seemed to absorb the moonlight and eyes that held an ancient, weary intelligence. He was the kind of dog that didn't bark at threats, he simply stood his ground like a statue of onyx, watching the world with a stoic intensity that most people found unnerving. His owner, Liam, a local carpenter who had rescued Atlas from a neglected estate years ago, had always viewed the dog as his ultimate companion and protector, a bond forged in silence and mutual respect. However, that bond began to fray when the thefts started in early winter, coinciding with Atlas's bizarre nocturnal disappearances. Liam had a strict routine of meal prepping high-protein raw beef portions for Atlas, sealing them in heavy-duty vacuum bags and stacking them in the pantry. But every morning, he would wake up to find the pantry door nudged open and one specific bag missing. At first, Liam thought Atlas was simply becoming greedy or undisciplined, but the physical evidence told a much more disturbing story. Despite supposedly stealing thousands of extra calories, this 180-pound giant was physically wasting away, his powerful ribs beginning to protrude and his once glossy muscles shrinking beneath his skin. Even more baffling were the injuries. Every dawn, Liam would find Atlas collapsed on the porch, his paws raw and bleeding from miles of trekking over jagged slate, his chest covered in deep scratches from thorny thickets that no sane animal would traverse in the dark. Liam felt a crushing sense of betrayal and confusion, watching his best friend turn into a gaunt, ghostly thief who would nudge a meal bag off the shelf with surgical precision before leaping over the 6-foot garden fence to vanish into the impenetrable wall of Douglas firs. The neighbors began whispering about a dark predator seen prowling the dangerous cliffs near the valley, and Liam feared that Atlas had reverted to some primal, wild state, perhaps fighting with coyote packs or raiding distant trash sites for scraps he wasn't even eating. The tension in the house became suffocating as Liam tried double-locking the doors, only to have Atlas pace and howl with a desperate, soul-piercing agony that sounded like a plea for a life-or-death mission. One rainy Tuesday, after finding Atlas shivering with a fresh, jagged gash across his shoulder and yet another missing meal bag, Liam realized that his dog wasn't being difficult. He was being driven by something far more powerful than hunger. If you've ever felt like your pet was trying to tell you something that words couldn't express, hit that subscribe button right now, because the truth Liam was about to uncover will shatter everything you think you know about animal sacrifice. Drop a like if you believe loyalty has no limits. Armed with a high-powered thermal scope and a heavy coat, Liam finally decided to break the rules of their brotherhood and follow the black shadow into the heart of the storm to see exactly where those stolen meals and Atlas's life force were being spent. The trek through the Silver Falls wilderness was a brutal awakening for Liam, who struggled to keep pace with the silent, rhythmic movement of the Cane Corso as Atlas navigated the most treacherous terrain imaginable. Through the green glow of his thermal scope, Liam watched this 180-pound warrior leap over freezing stream beds and squeeze through narrow, razor-sharp rock crevices that explained the constant cuts on the dog's flanks. Yet Atlas never stopped to rest, his massive head lowered as he gripped the heavy bag of meat in his jaws with a singular, iron-willed purpose. After nearly 2 miles of climbing toward the jagged northern ridges, Atlas slowed his pace near the base of a massive, lightning-struck cedar tree that had collapsed to form a natural hidden cavern beneath its roots. Liam crept closer, his heart hammering against his ribs as he prepared for a confrontation with whatever beast Atlas was supposedly fighting. But as he rounded the trunk, the scene that met his eyes drained the breath from his lungs and replaced it with a wave of devastating guilt. There, huddled in the freezing hollow, was a skeletal, shivering golden retriever mother, a dog the community would later identify as Luna, who had been missing for months, surrounded by 5 tiny whimpering puppies who were miraculously warm and alive. Liam watched in stunned silence as Atlas gently dropped the stolen meal bag at Luna's paws and immediately moved to the entrance of the log, standing perfectly still with his back to the wind to block the freezing sleet from reaching the nursing mother. The realization hit Liam like a physical blow. Atlas hadn't been eating the food at all. He had been starving himself and enduring miles of physical torture every night just to serve as a secret life support system for a family that had no one else in the world. While Liam had been scolding him and calling him a thief, Atlas was acting as a silent guardian angel, providing the protein Luna needed to produce milk and the body heat the puppies needed to survive the brutal Oregon winter. Liam's eyes blurred with tears as he stepped out from the shadows, and instead of growling, Atlas simply lowered his head, letting out a soft, weary sigh of relief, as if to say, "Thank God you're finally here to help." Liam immediately used his satellite phone to call the local rescue team, and as the dawn broke over the mountains, the entire town of Silver Falls witnessed a procession they would never forget. A massive black Cane Corso leading a team of rescuers who carried a mother and her 5 babies out of the mouth of death. The story transformed the neighborhood overnight. The shadow they had feared was now their greatest hero, and the butcher shop in town pledged to provide Atlas with the finest steaks for the rest of his life as a tribute to his nobility. The most beautiful part of the miracle was that the story didn't end at a shelter. Every single one of Luna's puppies was adopted by families on Liam's own street, and Luna herself was taken in by the retired couple living right next door, ensuring she would spend her life napping in the sun just a few feet away from the hero who saved her. Atlas finally stopped his midnight runs, content to sleep soundly on his plush bed, knowing that the family he had nearly died for was finally safe, warm, and within reach. If Atlas's silent heroism touched your heart, please leave a comment saying, "Good boy, Atlas," and share this video to remind the world that sometimes the ones we judge the most are the ones doing the most for others. I'll see you in the next rescue story.